Hi, various people on YouTube. Uh, I guess a formal introduction is necessary, but I'm not one to give one. And yes, the darkness and the lack of faith is required because self-confidence issues, and I don't need myself plastered all over YouTube. What this is like every other vlog, I guess, is my incoherent ramblings about whatever's on my mind for the night. If you look up, there's a title. It's gonna be about pro wrestling fans and OKCupid. And if that does not interest you, cool. If it does, stick around. Um, they won't all be about, you know, this particular subjects, but they will be entertaining, I hope. So let's start with point number one in my 15-minute time limit. And before I go on, I may touch upon subjects later on again in different videos, simply because I have more to say and I don't want to clutter each video with the, the same ramblings. So, number one, wrestling fans. Diehard fans who, wanna go on and like, I watch every pay-per-view, I watch every Raw, SmackDown. Yeah, cool, so do I. But I also watch other stuff. And if you consider yourself a diehard fan, and then don't watch, the other stuff out there, I gotta question how diehard you are. And don't give me that, like, oh, I don't have time, I don't have money. That's all nonsense. Because you're on here, you have, the streaming sites, you have the torrent sites, which I don't necessarily condone, but they exist. In my eyes, there is no reason that you cannot check out Chikara, or Ring of Honor, or Combat Zone, or, Pro Wrestling Guerrilla, and more importantly, the stuff that's on here that is put up by promoters, by wrestlers, by fans. You can check out indiewrestlers.net. They have a channel on here. I should probably put that in the description, but I'm lazy. You can check out their stuff. IWA Unlimited, which is under the title of IWA Unauthorized. It's as simple as typing in independent wrestling on that search bar and filtering today or this week or something. Or, broader searches, tag matches, whatever, cruiserweight, whatever match you want to see, whatever style you want to see, it's there. And you can watch it all for free. Even like Beyond Wrestling puts up a bunch of matches, so there you go. In addition, there's the podcast The Go-Go on here, and other like podcast style shows that promotions put up, so there's plenty of stuff to watch. And of course, when you go on the torrent sites, all that stuff too. And don't tell me that, like, I don't have time. If you have time to come on the internet, you have time to watch a video on here, play a video game, read a book. You have time to check out a show or two. And if you like what you see, buy it, support it. No one's asking you to buy every show. No one's asking you to buy every pay-per-view, the internet pay-per-views or whatever. They're just asking you to check it out. In fact, Chikara is the only promotion to need every show followed, and even then, somebody just read the results, and you check the podcast, and you keep up with the website. There you go. And I talk about the stuff on YouTube because really no one does. Everyone promotes independent wrestling, like the good stuff. Well, that little stuff needs recognition too because that's how people like A.R. Fox and Jonathan Gresham and Johnny Gargano and a plethora of other, up-and-coming stars like Gregory Iron, who is a very talented person, despite the handicap. I think that makes him so much more incredible that he's able to work around that. I'm always a big fan of his. And that's how these young kids and these young guys get noted. That's how the girls get noted. Because people watch the local stuff and then they help them evolve. If no one watched the local stuff, no one talked about the stuff, people like Matt Seidel's brother, Mike Seidel, wouldn't have gotten shots with Ring of Honor and whatnot because no one would care. And there's a plethora of talent out there right now who aren't working the bigger stuff that need to be talked about. Matt Cage, Marcus Crane. A lot of I'm blanking on a lot of names, unfortunately, but there's a lot of people out there who work in the lesser-known feds who are still pretty talented, and you have opportunity to watch them on here. There's SSW, which had a few shows on here, and there's pretty good stuff for local stuff. So I'm saying if you're on here, you have an hour at a time, whatever to kill, check them out. Doesn't really hurt. Doesn't really do anything other than help you broaden your horizon as a wrestling fan. And the business needs fans to thrive and survive, and it needs people to watch everything. If people if they just watched the good quote unquote good stuff, a lot of feds would die, a lot of promotions would die, people wouldn't get opportunities and chances. It's kind of like, I'll just don't listen to the last point here. If back when WCW and ECW died and they folded and they bought them out, imagine if where do I want to go with this? Imagine if after they bought them out, nobody watched WWE. The business would have been dead, right? Because obviously it was very, very stale and stagnant at the time. If no one watched it and helped it thrive, even during the bad times, after they bought out the competition, it would have died. If no one checked out TNA, the $10 pay-per-views, that wouldn't have thrived, and that wouldn't have built, and maybe not perfect now, but when it hit its peak, it wouldn't have even hit that peak without the people to check out the promotion. So, basically, in short, if you're a diehard fan, if you watch everything you get your hands on from the two promotions, why not branch out? You have every opportunity in the world to. So don't come crying to me saying that the WWE is boring or this is boring and that you have no other way to watch wrestling, no other thing to check out. Moving on, as I'm approaching 8 minutes here. Well, like 7:30, 8 minutes. OKCupid. Here's the thing. If you're on there, that's fine. But it's obviously bottom of the barrel. Like, you have run out of options in the real world to meet people. I have to wonder, if you're on there trying to get dates, why have standards? You shouldn't have standards. You've hit the bottom. I don't buy this, like, I'm only on here because it's a joke. If it's a joke, why waste your time? If you have booming social life, if you can do things, why waste your time on the site? Why have a profile? To mock people? That's sad if you need to mock people to validate yourself. I apologize for sniffling. I have really bad allergies. I do. It's fine. But, if you're on there and you're not replying to people and you have, the very selective things and you're holding out for the shining, knight in the shining armor, maybe it's time to lower the standards and try to find someone who, I don't know, interests you, I guess. All these profiles, and yeah, I'm on it too. I'll admit it. I have no shame. But, if you're on it, and all these profiles are, if you're just going to tell me I'm sexy, don't bother. Well, then fine. If someone responds with a witty response, and you're annoying them, then what the hell do you want? Do you want the hot guy to come in here and go, you sound smart, and you have a cool stuff? You're not going to get that. The hot dude just wants you because you're hot. They want you as a trophy. And the guys with any sense of intellect want you because they're trying to impress you. You can't have the best of both worlds. And that's why you're on there, because you're giving up hope in the real world. So either, lower the standards and maybe find someone else, or get off the site. Because how much can you do on a site when you're like, I'm just on here as a joke, or even more people, There's probably not a lot of hot guys on there. I don't check it. I don't check the dudes, but there probably is, attractive guys on there. That's fine. But, how many of them are flocking to you? And if they flock to you and you're like, oh, he's attractive, but he doesn't seem smart enough. Like, you can't have the best of both worlds. You only have so much. you gotta stop shooting for the stars and maybe shoot for the treetops. So I guess that's kind of what I wanted to say. If you enjoyed this, subscribe, leave comments. The same old that everyone who does this do says. If you hated it, cool. That's fine. That's life. Can't like everything. You know, I just thank you people for giving me an open forum to rant and ramble and rave on. And I hope that someone out there's like, yeah, I totally agree. And I hope that my voice is clear enough, and hopefully any flaws of this video get fixed in the next ones. Speaking of that, I think the next ramblings of my incoherent mind, will be about defining who you are. You know, being okay with who you are in your own skin. And probably that's it, just because I have a lot to say on creating your own, I don't know, creating your own destiny and creating your own person who you can be okay with. And I mean, and I'm gonna talk about like sexuality and professions and careers and dreams and lifestyles and everything. And I just hope to maybe next time open some eyes and get some people interested in what they say. So, you know, I thank you for watching. I thank you for listening. I thank you for paying attention. I hope I spoke something that somebody pays attention to and goes, yeah, I totally agree. And I hope you check in for the next one, whenever that is. Be soon. Thank you. Ciao.